we'd like to explore some key concepts related to cloud computing. In this series of videos, we will look at the advantages of cloud computing, the different types of cloud computing, and the cloud computing deployment models. AWS has a global infrastructure that is designed to deliver a fast and reliable experience to customers around the world. This infrastructure is comprised of 102 availability zones within 32 geographic regions around the world, over 245 countries and territories. Let's take a look. AWS regions. AWS regions are geographic locations with multiple isolated availability zones. Each region is a separate geographic area, and there are currently 32 regions around the world. The point of having multiple regions is to provide customers with the ability to operate production applications and databases that are more highly available, fault-tolerant, and scalable than would be possible from a single geographical location. AWS availability zones. An AWS availability zone is an isolated location within an AWS region. Each availability zone consists of one or more data centers, each with independent power, networking, cooling, and physical security. Availability zones allow you to operate production applications and databases that are more highly available, fault-tolerant, and scalable. Virtual private clouds. An Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, or VPC, is a virtual network dedicated to a user's AWS account. It is a service that allows users to create isolated networks within the AWS cloud, providing control over virtual networking environments, including IP address ranges, subnets, and route tables. In the global infrastructure, VPCs are associated with an AWS region. Edge locations. Edge locations are located in most major cities around the world and are specifically used by CloudFront to distribute content to end users. This is important because it allows for faster delivery of content to end users as they are closer to the content they are requesting. It is a way to reduce latency and improve performance. AWS edge locations are not the same as AWS availability zones. Edge locations are endpoints for AWS which are used for caching and delivering content faster, as part of a content delivery network, or CDN. Availability zones are isolated locations within a region that are used for high availability and fault tolerance. Local zones. AWS local zones are an infrastructure deployment that places compute, storage, database, and other select services closer to large population, industry, and IT centers. Local zones have a single-digit millisecond latency to end users. They help satisfy data residence, security, and compliance needs as well as extend existing VPCs to be closer to users. AWS local zones are not the same as AWS availability zones. Local zones are isolated locations within a region that are used for high availability and fault tolerance. Local zones are also used to place compute, storage, database, and other select services closer to large population, industry, and IT centers. Wavelength zones. AWS wavelength zones are an infrastructure deployment that places compute and storage services at the edge of telecommunications providers' 5G networks. Wavelength zones have a single-digit millisecond latency to end users over mobile networks. Outposts. AWS Outposts are a fully managed service that extends AWS infrastructure, AWS services, APIs, and tools to virtually any data center, co-location space, or on-premises facility for a truly consistent hybrid experience. In this video, we learned about the AWS global infrastructure. We learned about AWS regions, availability zones, edge locations, local zones, wavelength zones, and outposts. We also learned about the differences between these services. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more and hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as we upload. Please leave a comment if you have any thoughts or suggestions, and if you think this video is worth sharing with someone who could benefit from it, please forward a link to them. See you next time. Thanks for watching.